Hey, what's going on, guys? It's everyone's favorite anime and manga channel, lOsTAKUS. It's your boy Eric.
And I'm J2.
And today, we will be talking about the top 5 anime of 2022. What we thought were absolute masterpieces of anime.
Personally.
Factually.
And everything that isn't in here was trash.
As you heard the man, anything that's not on here, trash, did not deserve top 5. No, I'm kidding. There's a couple ones that I was really like debating, like, damn, this really, I was telling him, I'm like, I wish we would have made it top 10. He's like, no, 5. I was like, you're right. But anyways, my number 5, coming in at number 5, top 5 anime of the year for 2022 is Kaguya-sama Season 3. Let's go! Because it was just the culmination of Season 1, Season 2, finally building up to the end point of, where the anime left off on Season 3. And I was just like, freaking finally, bro. We get to this point.
The manga was over a year ago.
And we're finally getting to this point, finally. And I was just like, wow, everything about the relationships between the characters, every episode was just so fun and funny, and I cannot even begin to tell you everything about this anime was just like really, really good. And I just felt just like finally, like this Season 3 gave me a sense of like kind of like not completion, but just like satisfied. Like, yes, if you haven't seen Kaguya-sama, and if you like rom-coms, bro, you gotta check it out. It's great. It's great. That was my number 5.
Funny that everything that you said goes aligned with everything that I feel for my number 5, Teasing Master Takagi-san Season 3. And just like with Kaguya-sama, wrap it up. Takagi-san Season 3 plus the movie, it was the wrap up. You want to know how special an anime is? Because in Japan, this anime did so well. It's not the first anime where it had the 2 romance couples teasing each other. Is that they started the trend of more animes that you see every year. Since every season you'll see one where there's a couple and one of them is teasing the other one. Like one of my favorite ones this year was When Will Ayumu Make His Move? I love that little romance anime. But yeah, it's nowhere near the original. Well, it's not an original, but my original, which is Skill Teasing Master Takagi-san.
Dang.
Emotionally attached. Number 5.
Rom-coms for the win, bro.
Yeah, that's true,
bro. Rom-coms for the win. Let's go. All right. So, number 4 for me, Licorice Recoil. Licorice Recoil for me was really, really good anime.
That was your number 1 in the summer, right?
Yeah, that was my number 1. So that was my number 1 in the summer, which is in the summer video. For me, I was there for the relationships that Chisato had with everybody, with Takina, with her sensei, with everybody that worked in the cafe, even with the villain himself. Like the relationships and the dynamics between all the characters is what I was more interested in. The action was just an added bonus for me, because when I started that anime, I was like, oh, bro, John Wick, bro. This is like freaking like schoolgirl John Wick, girls with guns. I respect that, but it just wasn't girls with guns, bro. There were relationships in this anime and stuff that was moving, characters that moved the plot along, and it was just amazing to see. And I just had like a really fun time watching it, and I was just like, man, this is just so good.
Number 4, Bocchi the Rock.
There you go.
Bocchi the Rock, for me, I would say it was, if you ever seen Nichijou, so Nichijou mixed with Fooly Cooly. Oh, heck no. Let me add a third one to that. K-On!, Nichijou, and Fooly Cooly all jumbled up and to give you a musical high school girl chaotic mess that was Bocchi the Rock. That was so great that I had fun watching. There was not another anime that I had so much fun watching every episode. It made me laugh so hard till my guts hurt every episode. And when I get embarrassed for a character, where I get emotionally embarrassed for a character, that means I'm feeling that character's moment and I am in tune with that character, and that means I care about that character. And there was so many moments where I was actually like hiding behind my hands, and I'm like, oh no, Bocchi, bro, how you do this, bro? Like, where is this gonna go?
I got you.
The stage dive at that part. What is the cool thing? What can I say? I'm like, Bochi, you got this, girl. This is your moment. And for some reason, she thinks, oh, my drunk One-san, I saw her stage dive. And I'm like, as soon as they showed her take the first step, I'm like, no, please, no. And then she does. And I'm like, someone catch her, bro. Blech. Stage dive straight to the floor. And I'm like, oh, bro, no. I'm in my hands and I'm like, bro, no.
What are you doing, Bochi? What are you doing?
That was great, but that wasn't the only moment. There was plenty of other moments where I was just so embarrassed for this character, and I loved it. Every minute of it. Bochi, she's not in my simp list, but she's on girls I want to succeed. Yeah. I just want Bochi to succeed in life, in her life.
I feel that, bro. Like so much, because that was my number 3. Let's go.
One other thing to add on Bochi the Rock, it reminded me a lot of our summer. Eric randomly signed us up to do a panel at an anime convention, and I'm like, okay, dude, but what are we gonna do? Oh, I just put that we were gonna do an anime game. And I'm like, we've done those, but like never officially. So I organized it. He set it up. Oh, that was so much work. And it's like when she's with her band and they can't get in tune. We talked a few and we disagreed on some of the rules and there's stuff like that. I'm like, that's us. And then also when she's getting stage fright of being in front of people, I'm very introverted. I don't get stage fright. The way I got over that fear is by looking at people in the eyes. I'm like, if I look at everybody, I always pan at the room. And I'm like, if I look at everybody in the eyes, you're all potatoes. And Bochi, that's what I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, Bochi, the eyes. And she could never look at anybody in the eyes. I'm like, I get you, girl. I hate being in front of people. I hate gatherings and settings. I'm very introverted too. But the eyes, Bochi, look at the eyes. And I just connected with Bochi in that sense. But also, not only her journey of like forming the band and getting in there, I'm like, that was us in the summer with the game. And then we were kind of nervous. I'm like, will people show up or stuff like that? And is it going to turn out good? And then also her fans, her two females that saw her do the street performance, right? And they're like, we're fans. And they were in her first performance and in her high school performance, they were there. Shout out to the art of Mizuki. She showed up. And she was all like, hey guys, I'm like, I'm here for y'all. I'm here for support. She's someone that we just randomly met in us interviewing or him interviewing her. When we posted, I'm like, we're going to host our first panel. Hope y'all come out. Her and the Art of War were the first to be like, we'll definitely be there to support y'all. And they were. So shout out to both of them. Art of War,
y'all
Art of
check
Mizuki.
them out right there, bro. Real ones right there.
Yeah. The whole Bochi the Rock for me was our summer.
Dang, I didn't think about it that way.
I felt it
that
way.
That's crazy.
I want to boost it up to number 3 now, but
bro.
It's my number 4.
For real. Everybody that went to our panel and supported it, y'all real as hell, like my friends.
Oh, and it was a success.
It was an absolute success. Bro, it was great.
Filled it up. We had fun.
Everybody had fun.
It just sucks that we couldn't put out the video because the mic didn't record.
Yeah, the mic didn't record, but it's okay. We had fun. Everybody had fun there. But yeah, that is my number 3. He basically said a lot of things that I wanted to say. I couldn't connect with Bochi on that level because myself, I'm not really an introvert. I'm more extroverted. But there were times where I was just cheering her on, like as a person, as an individual, watching her go through her journey of trying to make music with her friends and her bandmates, and it was just like, bro, you got this, you can do this. And then she'd be like, and I'm like, no, come on, you got this, Bochi, let's go, right? I connected with it more on a more musical level because I myself make music and produce music for the channel.
What was that? What you listen to? Oh, that's a song made by Eric.
That's my song, bro. That's mine. And I really connected with them on that level in terms of them going through these challenges of trying to make a song, write the lyrics for a song, and trying to get people to come out to their show. And it was just great. Bochi the Rock, y'all haven't seen it, absolutely go check out a masterpiece there.
And now my number 3. The reason I can't bump up Bocchi the Rock, which a lot of y'all will probably be like, that's a crime. This one's for me, it's the upper tier because I love the world building. And that's why I love fantasy stories so much, because the world building, there's a lot of capabilities in world building in a fantasy story. So this one for me did great. In its 4th season, Overlord season 4. Because it was a culmination of a lot of things that happened throughout season 1, 2, and 3. Things like, oh, this character mentioned this moment back in season 1. Season 3, hey, we're alluding to this character. This character is helping us behind the scene. The end of season 4, we get that payoff. You know that character that we were talking about this entire time, the whole reason, like, hey, don't kill these two. And then in season 4, you find out what those two were. It's great to watch it in one go. If you haven't watched Overlord, I know a lot of people don't like fan service. It doesn't stick around so much. Like he doesn't like fan service either, but you checked out and you know the first season you were like it was a bit too.
The first season was actually like it took me
the first 2 episodes or so.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes were like meh, and then I gave it to the 3rd episode. I'm like, yo, this is a whole banger alert incoming, bro. And for an isekai too, I was like, man, this is actually really good. So I finished the first season. I have still yet to watch the second, the rest, third.
But it all picks up. And I tell them, like, I can't even tell you what to remember, but just try to remember the story and things will just pay off in future seasons. But season 4 in particular, a lot of things that were built up or set up from season 1, 2, and 3 were just a big payoffs in season 4. And there was a lot of cool moments. That's my number 3. Even though I love Bocchi the Rock and I connected to it so much more emotionally, but just for respect of the world building and Overlord, number 3.
Now my number 2 is Ranking of Kings. Let's go. Number 2, Ranking of Kings, bro. Like, oh man, even though it was the second half of it, like even that like hit so hard and I cried a lot during this anime, honestly, TBH. Just the way that it ended just threw me for a surprise. He finally got everything he was working towards. He finally had it in the palm of his hand. Like he had that, but he didn't have his friend, bro. He didn't have his freaking friend, the one that helped him the whole time. He didn't have him. And he's like, you know what? Whatever, bro. I'm going to go on a little journey, go find him. He finds him and he's like, bro, what are you doing out here, man? Like, I thought the kingdom. He's like, man, screw that kingdom.
That was your goal. That was your dream this entire season.
I'm going to go with you. You're going to travel with me. And guess what? I'm going to build my own kingdom. And I'm
a little boy, the weakest in the world, wants to build an entire kingdom
on his own.
Something that he already had.
And he said, I don't want that. I want my own kingdom. This man cannot hear, bro. He cannot hear. He speaks through sign language. And he's weak as hell because of a curse that his crappy dad placed on him. Had his kingdom and he said, F all that, bro.
For my friend.
For my friend, I'm making my own kingdom. I'm going to go out.
Me and my friend.
With me and my friend, I'm gonna go out, conquer, and make my own kingdom. If you don't tell me that's the most gangster shit you've ever heard from a child, bro, I don't know what the hell to tell you, bro. Bocchi.
Shout out to Bocchi and Bocchi, bro.
Shout out to Bocchi and Bocchi,
the two
bro.
Bocchi and Bocchi, real ones this year.
Yeah, bro. If this is not on your top 10 list, freaking Ranking of Kings, bro, you gotta check that list. Gotta check it twice. Gotta find out who's mid or who's nice, bro. Like what are you doing? Ranking of Kings. Let's go, bro. That's my number 2 right there.
You're hammering it in. It's your number 2. I have the opening and the ending on my number 1. The anime is not in my top 5.
Dang, bro.
So for my number 2, another journey. This is like the year of the sequels for me. Another sequel, Mob Psycho 100 season 3. This is basically Mob Psycho's swan song. I guess this is it. And his journey has come to an end in 3 seasons real quick. But this 3rd season, if you're telling me that wasn't one of the most beautiful fight scenes, but I was just so mesmerized. And it didn't even have to do with Mob. It was Dimple fighting a broccoli.
A broccoli, bro. A broccoli.
That scene of Dimple trying to fight this broccoli, that whole fighting scene, it was just so beautiful to see. I had to hit repeat on that twice. Mob's story coming to an end. at the end of the day, his final boss wasn't this big, overpowered sidekick guy. This freaking cultist leader sidekick guy. This sidekick guy that is drowning in their powers. No, it was himself. His final opponent was himself. And he finally gained a personality that he's been holding back from Reagan chasing after him, and the original theme hitting with Reagan, not Mob, going from 0 to 100 to try to snap Mob out of it and still failed. But of course, at the end, Reagan always succeeds because it's him.
That's that boy.
It was fun. Studio Bones, you gave up animating good shit for My Hero for Mob Psycho like you should have.
Absolutely the right decision. Absolutely. Over freaking Mid-Hero Academia.
I feel like this is the song for Mob, so
absolutely.
I want a movie though. We're finally getting Mob with a personality. I want to see a little bit more of that. Give me a movie, bro.
Next is my number one. My number one. That even surprised me that I thought this was my number one. Demon Slayer. Hell no, that wasn't it. It wasn't that trash. It wasn't that garbage.
Of course it wasn't.
Mob Psycho Season 3. Let's go, bro. Hey, bro, read it and weep, bro. Read it and weep. Everything he basically just said about Mob Psycho. Literally, the anime was perfection. An absolute masterpiece of an anime. Like, let me tell you, man, I had been following this man's journey, this boy's journey. And we finally get to the season 3, and it's just this whole culmination of everything finally coming together. I knew what this story was about growth in a boy and him trying to discover like what he is and who he is and how he fits in with everybody, or, you know, trying to find his place because he can't find his place. And he's put up against these people that don't want to be normal. They want to use their psychic powers to either get rich or, you know, get girls, as some of them do, or whatever, cause crimes. And he's just like, bro, why can't you just not use your powers like that, man? Like, what the heck? And he has to fight them off. And then finally, as he said, there was no villain this time. There was villains in the arc, in the season, but the final villain was not against everything that he said, but exactly, it was just himself.
In the first 2 episodes, Shigeo, aka Mob, had more character development and character growth than Ichigo Kurosaki did in his entire freaking career, bro.
Bro, coming in with the hot takes, bro. Dang. Facts, though. Factual facts. Bro, like, he was just finally, like, he was good. Like, he was good. Reagan, like, my boy Reagan, MVP of the series, bro. Like, MVP. This whole time he's been a mentor to Mob, and even though he's been lying to him, like, he still cared about him. Like, he really truly cared about Mob. Dimple, as much of a piece of shit Dimple was, he actually cared about Mob too, to the fact that he saved him during that fight with the freaking broccoli man.
The real fight started with him and the broccoli tree, and that just kicked it up to another level. It's that power of friendship, bro.
The winner, the king Mob, King Shigeo, 2022, Mob Psycho Season 3, LFG, let's go. You heard it here first. Read it and weep.
My number one, the only anime that I watched twice from beginning to end because it was so damn good, and it is Yofukashi no Uta, Hall of the Night. It was that nostalgia feeling of Furikuri, just reminded me of Naoto from Furikuri, his journey, and him also learning about relationships. And it had a more of an adult theme, even though it was a younger character. Yeah. But that anime was so funny and chaotic. And in this one, it's also funny and chaotic, but just so chill. Yeah. And it was thanks to the soundtrack that it just kept that vibe going. And the fact that most of it was in the night. The vibes were just there, right? The coloring, the everything. The animation itself was perfect. Cuts, the scenes reminded me of Durarara. That was great. It had a lot going for it. And I just really liked the series all around, thanks to the characters. And mainly for me, it was character driven. Characters for me is what made the show. And I watched it twice. So that's why it was easy for me to say that this was my number one, because I don't often do that, because there's so many animes to watch. You got to keep it going. And my song of the year number one song of the year that is anime related, but could not be in there because it's not an opening and it's not an ending, is Lost Time by Creepy Nuts, which is an insert song in Call of the Night. And I'm so sad that I can't put it anywhere, but I knew since Call of the Night was gonna be my number one, I'm just gonna say, check out Lost Time.
Yeah, that was it. Like for our top five of a lot of things,
Simping, a lot of categories, endings, openings, anime. So before we wrap things up, 2022, look back on it, pretty great. We did a lot of conventions this year. I kind of feel like we found our niche right there, especially me, because since 2019, if you asked me like 4 years ago, I wouldn't say I was introverted at all. But 2019, almost dying and almost losing my leg, but being okay. And then not seeing people for that second half of 2019. And then once I was rehabbing and I was able to move, 2020 happens, pandemic happens, everything closes. But then 2021 came. It wasn't until like losing your family member, right? It was actually one of the hardest years in my life. I thought that almost dying and having 2,000 pounds fall on me was bad enough, but emotional damage is more long lasting than physical damage. Honestly, I never thought that I could be depressed, but that year I learned. Lucky for me, I have friends that I can talk to. I have family that supports me, but not all of us have that. Or a few months ago, if not this month, we found out that someone that we had a lucky time to interview passed away. Right? Passed away due to suicide. Father of Aisha, nice time that we spent with him. He looked awesome. My favorite female pro wrestler, Hana Kimura, she also passed away due to suicide. When we started the YouTube channel, I knew I had to put a suicide prevention line, which is that SAMHSA, SAMHSA. And I hope that you are doing well in life, and I wish the best for you in life. I want to say that I appreciate y'all, and I will continue to appreciate anybody that watches our shorts on Instagram, that watches our videos full-time here. And if you ever need help, I'm not saying that we're the ones to do it, but just know that you are appreciated because I really appreciate you. And there's a link down below where you can get help. And internationally, if you know someone that needs help, there's a link for an international help. And you could click on that and it'll give you hotlines internationally where they can get help. So it doesn't have to be from America. It can be from anywhere in the world. There's a list of worldwide global countries, and they tell you like, here's a number for this hotline for help or anything like that. And 2022, when I was looking back on it, it was the most normal year that I've had in the last 3 years. And I'm very much appreciative of anybody that watched our YouTube channels. And I just want to say thank you.
And, you know, I'm really grateful for the fact that we have this whole giant thing called anime and manga that we all use to connect with people, make new friends, or just like get away from life sometimes. Because as he said, it could be really stressful. You have things coming up or just events that happen in your life, and you know, you're either depressed or sad or mad or whatever emotions you may be feeling, and you watch an anime to take you away from that. And it's a really beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful art form that, you know, that's something we really appreciate. Hearing people's stories at conventions, I know it's something that a lot of people appreciate as well, because we've met a lot of people that are like, hey, you know, like I was down and out, or I had this happen to me, and, you know, anime was there for me. And then there's people that were down and out in life, and because of anime, they met friends that now have picked them up and taking them to a better place because they've shared this love of animation and storytelling. And that is something that is really, really, really important. You know, whether one of our videos has like 1 view or, you know, 100 views, like as long as somebody got something out of it or they enjoyed it, then we've done.
And we've gotten those messages. We've met a few people that are like, I'm looking forward to every one of your uploads. And that, for me, I just really appreciative of that, and thank you. So as great as 2022 was for us, we're gonna make 2023 even better.
And with that, this wraps up our top 5 video series of 2022. We had a lot on the list, but we got it all done. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, out.